Bear is an absolute loser, 100 million percent. And I want to talk about this film Obsession because a lot of people seem to be sleeping on Michael Johnson's performance. There's a lot of attention on Indy Navarrete, and rightfully so. She did play a convincingly excellent psycho girlfriend, 100%. I'm not gonna deny that, but Bear, the character of Bear, loser. And the premise of the film and the character of Bear is probably why I think the film has garnered so much attention. I think that's one of the main reasons. Again, I'm not going to deny that Indy Navarrete's performance and her character, the character that she played, also did its part. But it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. You can't have a psycho girlfriend with somebody who didn't also do his part well of playing the boyfriend who's also a loser, right? The one who had no balls to actually ask out the person who he was very much attracted to, blatantly attracted to in the film. It can't work without these two characters. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, whether they want to admit this or not, have probably had this fantasy in their mind about someone being obsessed with them at some point in their lives. At some point. Again, I think that's one of the main reasons why this film has got so much attention. It's not a typical thriller or horror film in the sense of you can see the monster. There's really no reveal of any kind of monster. Obviously, I know there's an entity that possesses Nikki, right? I understand that. I do believe that. A lot of people like to argue whether it's a demonic entity or not. I fully am convinced it is. I don't want to go too much into that side of things, but the protagonist is actually the antagonist, Bear, that's who the movie focuses on, really. He's the main character. In a sense, he gets in his own way. He gets in his own way. All you had to do was ask out this woman who's showing signs, and I'm going to draw from my own personal experience. I've asked out women in the past who I thought were showing signs of interest. I remember this one particular example, actually. Yeah, let me draw for this one example, because that's the main one that sticks out to me. I thought she was showing signs of interest years ago. And turns out she wasn't when I actually asked her out. And I was confused. I was confused. Now, had I let the fear of rejection get to me, to the point where I never asked her out, I would never have known. At least then I knew, okay, so all of these, what I thought were signs of flirtation and things of that nature, were not actually that. But at least I found out, right? Found out. I didn't spend years or months wondering. But this character, Bear, didn't do that. Obviously, the film itself, the plot, it gives him the ability to bypass that altogether. And this is where it goes beyond being a loser, really, and starts delving into the realm of being predatory. Because once he made that wish, and he saw the results in blatant effect, the results were plain as day. He didn't try to undo them. In fact, even when Nikki, when she came to her senses in the middle of the night and asked him to take her out, when he heard her screaming on the phone, terrible scene. That scene rattled my brain for a couple of days, I'm not going to lie. When he heard her screaming on the phone in sheer torment, sheer terror, pure terror, wherever she was, he didn't try and resolve the issue. He ran away. Right? He's a coward. He's a coward and a predator and a loser. Even if the woman who you were attracted to and you really liked rejected you, at least then you knew, you would have known. Instead, you went through this whole thing And look what happened to you. Now, again, I want to go back to this fantasy that a lot of people may have had. I've had it myself at some point, where the idea of someone being obsessed with you, or multiple people of being obsessed with you, sounds pleasant. But this film shows the reality of that. It's not. A lot of people want to be a celebrity. They want to be rich and famous. Being rich, yeah, it's not. I don't think that's near it. I don't think that's anywhere as bad as wanting to be famous. But there are people who just want to be famous. They don't really care too much about the riches. They just want people all around the world to love them and be obsessed with them. You're twisted if you want that, really. That's a twisted fantasy. It's a selfish fantasy. I'm just being straight up. Mankind are not designed to receive that level of praise and worship, to receive all of that glory, and then not do something negative to your brain, to your psyche, to your mental health. You're not designed to receive that. Only God is. Right? Pride is a horrible thing. To think that you deserve someone being obsessed with you. You're a prideful lunatic. No one deserves that. Don't care how many records you've sold if you're a music artist. Don't care how many great films you've made if you're a film director, producer. Don't care how many films you've acted in that are blown up at the box office if you're an actor, an actress. I don't care. You do not deserve any level of worship. You don't deserve anybody to be obsessed with you. And be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it to a certain degree. And it may be fun. It may be fun for a few days, a few weeks, a few months. But what happens after a few years? You see it with a lot of celebrities who may have grown up in the public eye. Look at Justin Bieber. There's a compilation video of him on YouTube when he was younger, when he was a child, about how he interacted with the paparazzi. Guy was loving it at first, loving it. Look what happened as the years went on. How he started swearing at them, cursing them out. Fighting some of them. Look at Miley Cyrus, same thing. Look at Lindsay Lohan. If I'm not mistaken, she actually fled the country to a certain extent. And when I say fled, I'm kind of exaggerating, but not really. It's my understanding that she left Hollywood completely. She left America because she had enough. All of these Disney stars, these child actors that are essentially launched, thrown into the public eye from an early age. I mean, look at Michael Jackson, probably the biggest and most classic example that we can that we can reference people in our generation. Look at what happened to him. He had people obsessed, literally. He had people obsessed. To the point where, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know this for sure. But it's my understanding that when he died, people committed suicide. Multiple people. Right? People worship this man, heavy emphasis on the man, right? A mortal being, to the point where when he died, he passed away, they thought their lives had ended, right? They were like, what's the point? My hero is gone. So am I. Bye-bye. That's sad. And that's a consequence of wanting someone to be obsessed with you. To the point where when you're gone, now, Obviously, offing yourself is an extreme, but there are people who were absolutely devastated, people that never even knew it. Right? I'm sure there are a lot of people who went into depression. I wouldn't doubt that. Now, again, don't quote me on the fact, if it's a fact or not, don't quote me on this, whether people have committed suicide or not. I just remember hearing about it when it happened, when Michael Jackson passed away years ago, that it was coming out in the news that this person had committed suicide. Okay, we're on number 2, now we're on number 3, now we're on number 4. I just remember hearing about that. So again, I've never actually Googled it. I'll be posting this video before Googling it, so you guys can fact check me on that, but feel free to fact check me on that if you want. Being obsessed with someone is unhealthy. The word obsession is not a great thing, to be obsessed. I don't even believe in the Bible it's a great thing to be obsessed with God. I don't know if that's an actual thing even in the Holy Bible. I don't believe that. The Bible talks about loving God and fearing God. It never uses the word being obsessed. Love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, might, and soul, essentially. Paraphrasing. So consider God in everything that you do, but that's not obsession. That's not obsession. Why does a person, a living being, who was born of flesh, deserve that level of attention and worship? No one does. Again, apart from God. When I'm thinking about it, that's the only person, that's the only being you can actually healthily be obsessed with. Again, I'm going back to the Bible, I'm going biblical here, but let me go back to this movie, because the character Bear represents the modern day loser. And there are a lot of them. Unfortunately. Men and women. But let me focus on the men, because obviously I'm a man. If you are attracted to a woman and you can see yourself being with this woman, say that you have your life together. You have your life together and you have things going for you. There's nothing wrong with wanting to pursue a woman properly, naturally. Now, I know this film is completely fictional. I understand that. But if you were given the opportunity to make somebody obsessed with you, would you take it? Ask yourself that. Now, you may have watched this film and thought, no way. But suspend your memory of this film and have an honest look at yourself and think, before I watched this film and I saw the consequences of those actions, and maybe some of you would still decide to go ahead and do that, despite seeing the consequences of Bear's actions. Suspend what you know about this, about how this very much well could go. Would you wish for somebody who you liked, maybe you liked them a lot, to be obsessed with you, rather than ask them out? See, like you don't know if they like you or not, right? You don't know. You're seeing potential signs, but you're not sure. Would you wish for them to be obsessed with you? Would you like that? This fantasy, this thought, is a lot more common than people realize. It's a lot more common than people may realize. Because this guy is sick, it's twisted, it's evil. It's evil to want someone to be obsessed with you. That's why he's the protagonist and the antagonist. He gets in his own way. He opposes himself. Bear is his own enemy, not necessarily the entity that possesses Nikki. That's a byproduct of the antagonistic behaviour that Bear showed. Toward himself. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. And I have to think to myself, all of those times when I was younger, and even still to this day, when I get flashes of those thoughts, because I used to want to compete in MMA as a professional. And I got to make that walk 3 times before I retired. I say I retired. I stopped competing for personal reasons / religious reasons, if you will, years ago. I made the walk 3 times into the cage. But even still to this day, every now and again, just thinking and imagining that crowd, they're all there for you. Imagine having fans to the point where they're wearing your name on their t-shirt. They're making purchases, spending money, not only to go there and see you, but to have your name on their t-shirt, their jumper, merchandise in general that's tied in directly to you. You don't deserve that. Who deserves that? No athlete, no celebrity, no actor, no actress deserves that. But it's something that a lot of people, maybe even most people in life at some point, have had the desire to achieve or to obtain. And again, I think genuinely this is one of the main reasons why this film has garnered so much attention. The psychology behind it. Again, give credit to where credit is due. The actors that played those characters, especially the 2 main characters, but obviously the whole cast and crew, did an excellent job, obviously, of convincing the audience of this story. But it is that premise, I think. And again, I want to shine light on Michael Johnston, the actor, and his performance. Because a lot of people are just overlooking it completely, it seems. Certified loser, predator, sociopath, narcissist. A lot of the times people think of a narcissist or a sociopath as somebody who's in the limelight. You may be getting a lot of attention on social media, millions of followers, getting millions of views every single video or post. Not necessarily. There are so many losers in life who think that they are deserving of such worship and praise that are just walking down the streets every day. So many people. There are so many people with narcissistic qualities that you wouldn't believe. And I think the character Bear represents that perfectly. Just the guy who works at the bar. Right? The person that works at your local restaurant. There may be a server at a hotel. There may be a receptionist. A cleaner. So many people. Just think about that.